Welcome to Indie and Unsigned, a presentation of Zagnif Productions, LLC. Indie and Unsigned.
So no lions, no.
Unless I get backstage, I'm not coming.
He was getting it in. For those of y'all that are listening to the, for those of y'all that are listening to, get over the world. I'm making that up. I don't know what it's like all over the rest of the world. But I am here today.
Broadcasting live from Zagnif Studios, it's Indie and Unsigned, where we interview the best and the brightest of the stars that you haven't met yet.
So, that's
Yeah, last time I talked to y'all, I was bragging.
And now it's time for another episode of Indie and Unsigned with your host, Mista Fingaz.
Episode 2 of Indie and Unsigned. I am your host, Mista Fingaz. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What it is. I don't know why I said that, because now I sound like I just walked like straight out of the 70s with the butterfly collar and the bell bottoms with the stacks. But how is everybody doing? It is a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. It is a beautiful day in the kingdom of hush, man. Don't get me started, because I'm gonna start giggling. A beautiful day in the kingdom of Zamunda. Welcome to season 3, episode 2 of Indie and Unsigned. And today I have a special treat. I peeped this guy. There is a page that I follow on my social media. There's a couple. They are a Hollywood power couple. That is Team CT Clayton Thomas and his lovely wife, Miss Tangerine Thomas. And Tangerine has a show that comes on every Tuesday called Tangerine's Top Talent. Shout out to Tangerine. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for letting me. He here now. And I peeped this brother, and he does spoken word, and he does spoken word off the dome. Not only does he do written spoken word, that he's stuff that he's already written, he does freestyle spoken word. And not only does he do freestyle spoken word, well, I'm not gonna give away too much, but y'all stick around. We'll get to that in just a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, speaker, author, and spoken word artist and hat connoisseur, G Jones. How you doing, brother? Thank you for joining us today, sir.
I ain't know I was all that. I'm all that. Where did that come from? I'm 2 people. I must be 2, 3 people. I don't know if I'm all them. I don't know if I'm all
that. You was looking around for somebody else, like, who he talking about?
Yeah. who do all that? So he got 17 jobs. He tired. Whoever you have got, they gonna be tired. They do too much.
Look, man, look, we gonna be laughing this whole episode. I'm getting Robin Harris, Bernie Mac vibes off you already.
See, they don't know about Robin Harris.
Look, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Baby kids.
Baby's but that's all. They don't know that.
I bet you won't go in there with them lions. How much you want to bet? Say $50, make it light on yourself.
I'm saying no, because I'm gonna say something now. Robin Harris was Bernie Mac before Bernie.
Yes, it's the truth. It is the absolute truth, and that's something that, you know what, we're gonna save that for another discussion. Because I saw that I watched that whole documentary about the club and the whole 9 and everything. Yeah. Man, and Robin was killing them.
Yes,
Robin was killing them. Hey, brother, you in show business? How come you got your feet up on the stage? Gotta go.
That's because he had it all. He already had all the hilariousness in him, and right. He had it in such a raw form. That's yeah.
And all he needed was an outlet to let it out. But we're not here to talk about the late great Robin Harris. Those of you that are under a certain age, if you don't know who Robin Harris is, all you need to do is just go to YouTube, type in Robin Harris, and add Baby's Kids. That's all you need to know. Yeah. That will give you the total perfect snapshot, everything you need to know about Robin Harris. But we're not gonna talk about that. Highway police help, highway patrol help. Pull up next to him and said, "Man, you out your mind, them baby kids." Anyway,
I need y'all to know, if nothing else, we don't die. We multiply.
My wow. Well, I knew they was gonna miss. I knew they was gonna get that on because they said, "Cut him low."
Oh man!
I knew we were gonna cut up when we came on here. This interview gonna run a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. I'm feeling this vibe already. So look, thank you for joining the show, man. We appreciate you. Why don't, before we go too much further and give them like the whole before we give them the whole Kings of Comedy tour, a little bit about, tell us who you are, where you from, and what you do.
Okay, so I am the magnificent. All right, no, okay. I am G Dash Jones, right? Listen, you see it on the screen. You got to spell out the dash, okay? GDASH Jones, spell out the dash. I am a no. I am a spoken word artist, published author. I do motivational speaking. I do workshops. I do a little bit of everything. Hosting. So I'll be moving and shaking, trying to keep people engaged, uplift the spirits of some folk. Having a little message and really kind of reaching out. And I'm from Delaware, right? So
you're originally from Delaware.
yeah, well, see, yes, and I'm from Wilmington, Delaware, North Side, and I feel like where I'm from, some would consider the trenches. It's not what people automatic. It's not what you think of Delaware. And there's Northern Delaware and Southern Delaware, different, and there's different areas. From Wilmington, and you can Google it if you want. It is. It raised me in the hood, right? I learned some things. Don't get me wrong, a lot of money in Wilmington too, depending on what part you're in. But where I was from was the hood. So
Hold
taking.
on. There's a hood in Delaware.
Listen,
okay. I'm just asking.
Listen.
I'm just asking. I'm
right.
not trying to be Simple Simon. I'm just saying there's a hood in Delaware. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And it's based on popular. They shoots around here. Like put like this. It's a point of I had to learn that it was a little bit more violent in the hood that I was from than it is in what they claim big cities, just because of the small population, right? And they shoot. Right, and it's not even like we got less gun laws. They just shoot. So that's just what it is in the hood. So like all of that, yeah. Delaware got a hood. So got a couple of them actually. Got a couple of them. At any rate, so I take my experiences and what I've grown through, what I lived through, and I try to apply that into what I do. So yeah, I feel like I answered all the questions that we started off with.
You hit all the talk. You hit all the talking points of the TED Talk so far. But yeah, so man, look, for those of you that are watching us, by the way, thank you so much for joining. This is Indian Unsigned, season 3, episode 2. I'm here with G Dash Jones. If reading is fundamental, it's right down there. So now I got a question I want to get into before we even get into the how you got into spoken word and motivational speaking. I need to know what's going on with the hats, because brother, every time I see you rocking something new.
Okay, so I do have a hat thing. I probably got like 20 fedoras, 40, no, 20, well, probably like 25, 30 fedoras, and like 40 fitted hats, 50, something like that. Yeah, I'm a hat person. That's a thing. So okay, right. Because I fool with you, Mr. Fingaz, I'm gonna tell you where my hat thing came from, and this might be the first time I've told this story publicly because I don't work at the company no more.
Okay.
So, right, as a young whippersnapper, I was the young boy with the braids. I had the velour sweats too. I was young, meaning, but I had a corporate job. So for me, I would wear like a button down, right, to work, but I wear it with the fitted that matched. So I had a fitted. I used to keep all the fitteds that matched all the different but I felt like an owner. Like when they call the cat up the dude up on the stage from the draft, like number 1 pick, Jarrell Jones. What, I had the button down, the suit blazer, and then I rocked the fitted hat every day just to still be hood about mine. I didn't care. That was just my MO, and I felt like I was good at my job. So that was really big part of it too. Now, and I mean, so I used to be told at one point, it was like, take your hat off, right? And I was like, all right, and I would take it off, and most of the time. And then one day I walked in with a fedora, and they ain't say nothing but nice hat. Now, I will tell you that moment, it taught, like there was a lot of that, he's a nigger vibes when the fitted was on, because that's how they saw me. And I was like, huh. My brain broke at how it was received differently, right? And I'm not saying like it wasn't that it was racist, because at that point I actually even had conversations with even some black folks that was like, yeah, nah, because the hat dude, this hat does this thing and that hat does that thing, and I'm like, but I'm me. Like it bugged me out. So that's where the fedora collection was. The fitted collection I had since I was young, I just collected good. You get a cool fitted that would match the jean, whatever. And then the fedora came from just dealing with it being seen differently. And I was like, oh, so I'm this person when you see me with this, right? Just that the hat changes, all of that. Funny how that works. Huh. So yeah.
So kind of like the apples and oranges, but people not being able to recognize Superman when he puts on a pair of glasses and a suit.
Facts. Like I throw the fitted on. Oh, he a nigga over there, man. Listen, he might be this, he might be that. Like I become a whole city bull. Like I'm in the midst of it. I throw the fedora on. Well, he's professional. He really knows what the stuff, man. Like what happened? Like the hat.
You sure do I need to go back and rewrite your introduction and put stand-up comedian on there too? I need to add a little bit of that.
No, because
I feel a whole routine in there with this right now.
Nah. I don't know. I don't know if I got the heart to. I don't know if I think I'm that funny. Like I think I'm funny, but I'm like nigga, you know funny. Like I'm as funny as a nigga, you know. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Like I'm not as funny as a stand-up comedian.
Right. Well, that was something that I dipped my feet in that pool too, because as like we talked about before the show, I was a karaoke host, and so my thing was I would go to karaoke shows and the guy would sit in the corner and then somebody would sing and he'd go, nice job. Next is Ted. And there'd be no music in between, wouldn't say anything, wouldn't engage the crowd. And I was stationed in San Antonio. It was my second to last duty station. I was stationed there. And these guys took me out to this bar and they had like a 9-person crew. 5 of them were the on-stage talent. One guy ran the music and sound. Another guy ran the lights. Like it was this whole big production, and they would do skits and they would do choreograph stuff like that. And I was like, man, if I ever get into karaoke, that's what I want to do. So when I started doing that in the DC area, I incorporated every little bit of what I saw people doing. A little bit here and a little bit there. And, sometimes I'd get a few in me. I had a friend of mine that said, I can tell when you are at that point with your alcohol, because you will go on a 15-minute just stand-up routine, or you just start roasting somebody. And so folks are like, yo, you should do comedy. Like seriously, I don't know how I remember this night, because I remember how much I drank, because I still remember 13 years later how badly I felt after the next day after I woke up. That's how rough it was. This dude came in, he was a little height challenged. The stage was already up about 3 feet. He was height challenged, and he was walking up to the stage and telling me how horrible the people that had just got off the stage were, and it sucked, and you don't need to let them people sing no more, and you need to cut the music off. And I went, I grabbed the microphone. I said, excuse me, sir, does Mr. Rourke know you snuck off the island? He said, you know what I'm talking about. They're playing. And then I said, ain't it a sign by the door to say you must be this tall to karaoke? Like I ripped on this dude for 10 or 15 minutes. And had everybody in the bar in stitches until he decided he wanted to fight. And then his boy came and got him, and I bought them both a couple rounds afterwards. Like, hey man, no hard feelings, but just so you know, don't do that. And people, yo, you should be a stand-up comic. And it's a lot harder. It's easier to be spontaneously funny than it is to sit down and map out a routine.
Yep.
I could host an open mic night, but don't ask me to do no routine. That's just not happening. Anyway.
I actually agree. So just the fun fact about how I know how to do what I do. So like I studied comedy. Like I pay a lot of attention to, when I say I study, like I watch the different documentaries, and I listen to different stuff like this, like just in general, and how to engage. One of the things that even for what I do spoken word wise and improv wise and host wise, Dave Chappelle once said that all you have to do is engage a crowd. That's what he said. And when he said it, like it made my brain like, bing! And I was like, wow. And like I've hosted and I've performed at different venues. So I've performed at spaces where I was doing spoken word at a comedy show, which was different. I felt bad for the comics. Only reason I felt bad for the comics because I got to see firsthand how hard comedy is. Like, and don't get me wrong, they was funny and people was laughing, but it was a comedy show that also had to be, it was like a weed comedy show. So it was a show where it was cannabis friendly, right? So we was right, blowing and all that. And I'm watching it, and I'm going in between. Like I think I went like early in the beginning, like setting it off. I had like just finagle my way onto a stage. You know what that's like. And and I'm opening up, and they there for me, but everybody lit, and they cool, but they also anticipated comedy, right? Lucky
Right.
for me, my show is big, and I do like I'm all of these things. But because they knew I was doing spoken word, they didn't anticipate to laugh, so it was a lot easier. But I can't admit, like if they had the people who went after me were very talented, extremely funny, but like they a bunch of stoners, so they chilling, and like getting them to laugh, like it was like it was because experienced stoners don't just geek. They just be like, haha, you crazy. These niggas is doing their best material though.
Go there, cuz.
That's
Cuz you
crazy.
stupid.
Yeah, he's stupid. Yeah, that. Like, I'm like, yo, this man is busting his ass on this stage right now. And y'all over here like, like it was a lot. But it was like, it really taught me how hard it is to be a stand-up comic. Like, I can't, like that part, like for me, I have to engage. Right? As being a spoken word artist, I engage the crowd. That's a part of what I do. That's how I look at it. It's about bringing someone into my show and creating an experience. That's big for me. But I can just invoke emotion. That's what art does. I don't have to necessarily make you laugh. And so yeah, I'm good on that.
That's what's good, man. That's what's good. So let's move a little bit into how did you get into spoken word, and like who was there something specific that inspired you, or someone specific that inspired you to get into spoken word, or was it just something that you always rocked with?
So yeah, I came out the womb and I just started seeing words at the age of 2. I'm lying. Like that's not what happened. That doesn't happen to anybody. Like stop it. If you remember 2, like you saw, listen, you crazy. No,
Wait a minute, hold on. The crowd. We must got the crowd from your first show because they're a little late.
That's hilarious. But I had so essentially when I was young, my sister put me on to like Zora Hurston and Langston Hughes. Like I always was in that vibe. And then so I was born in '84. So I'm a child of hip hop, right? Like I was a child of hip hop. Like I saw Boys in the Hood in the theaters. I grew up with everybody from LL Cool J through Jay-Z. So like I was in that whole, like I literally listened to it all the time. So words meant something to me. Starting then, right? So that had always built in it. And then you remember, like, even it's hard. Like I was born in '94, so I mean '84, so I probably was like 10 or roughly around when that whole Malcolm X came out, and it was that pro-black, those things, right? These add to what that pen meant to me, like how much these words mean. And then as I got older, I kind of faded away from some of it because I could rap, right? Or I translated it to rap. And I didn't, the spoken word thing, the fact that I could like improv a poem, I took it for granted because I could just do it, right? And instead I'm using that same talent in ciphers, right? So it's like, all right, and I'm rapping, and I mean I can do that too. And I did that, and I performed, and I did all types of stuff. What brought me back to poetry, to spoken word. I had always wrote. Throughout that time, I always write. I would find different reasons to write, things like that. And I was at Busboys and Poets, right? So I had Busboys and Poets with my lady at the time. She says, we were there, and they're like, hey, who wants to get on stage? She said, you can do the spoken word thing, right? I said, yeah. She said, you want to go up? I was like, okay, I can do it. The hell? Wait, me? You want me to go now? And I did, and I came in second place, and I didn't even know it was a competition. So
Nice.
that was when it was like, I should probably take this seriously. I probably should do this more often. I did that with improv. Just all I really did was wrap up everybody else's poems with the spoken word and like that. And it wasn't really hard for me because I can do it and I pay attention and I'm always trying to learn and grow with it. And I still write and I still wrote, so it helped. From that point on, that would kind of been my thing. Like I would just go different. Like I was like, all right, let me hit these open mics. Let me do this. Let me do that to kind of get that spoken word spot under the belt. To really kind of get you comfortable with the crowd and doing that improv piece. that way and kind of finding my niche, filling out what gives me the energy to tear it up and what makes me not. So just, that's the journey.
Yeah. Well, what kind of things do energize you to really to like, I've mentioned, I write music, I sing, I've DJ'd, I do this, I've got a 9 to 5. Every one of us has something that really like gets us wound up and want to go out and, really put the boots to the I can't think of what I'm trying to say. Really want to just go out and give it your all. I didn't want to use that because that just sounds so corny, but you really want to go out and give it 100%. So what are some things that get you amped? What gets you hyped when you're getting ready to do a spoken word?
So that's the gauntlet. Okay. So what I like to think of that is as the gauntlet. It's a situation where, and it always has happened to me at random. So me performing at a space, anytime I'm doing a performance, that's one thing my brain knows kind of what I'm going into. I typically have, even if I'm improvising, my brain kind of knows. Sometimes I do, like, I have structure where I know where I'm going to go with these improvs. And then there are moments when I either feel like somebody's like, hey, do it again. Matter of fact, here, I'm going to give you the best example of it. When I really started taking this seriously, I started to I realize what my talent could be. I hit up one of my friends named Lucky. He's a drummer, right? And I had worked with him in a studio for years prior, just doing different stuff. And Lucky, listen, I do this. I feel like I could go somewhere with it. I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, all right, let me hear it. And I've known him for years, but he's never necessarily heard me do this. Said, all right, let me hear it. Right. So he gave me a word. Boom. I did whatever the word was. Then he said, that was fire. He said, all right, here's another one. Boom. That time he put me on speakerphone. I said, all right, bet. And now I'm like, what? You ain't hear me the first time? Let bow. So he gave me another word, did another one, killed it. Right. He's like, yo, talking to people in the background. And he's like, hold on, I'm taking you with me right now. Then he left the house that he was at. And then he went like around the corner and was like, all right, G-Dash, you got another one in you? Come on. You said you do this. Let me see. Bad. I guess he was with his lady or whatever the hell they did. Bow, bow, bow. Did another one. Bow. I probably did like 5 or 6 that night. Right. Back to back though. And then for me, like, that's when it'd be like,
all off the dome.
All off the dome, right? Because now, what you mean? What you mean I can't? What you mean you don't know? What you mean you can't tell? like now it's a whole other ball game now because I'm about to show you what I'm doing, and it's not even out of that because, like I said, like part of it's the energy from the surroundings that I'm dealing with. I did the other day. I was hosting a block party at the same time. I did a kids event in the morning, and then I had an open mic at the night. And when I hosted the block party, I did poems too. When I tell you, by the time I hit that night time, I thought I was going to be tapped out and tired because it was such a long day. And they got some amazing, phenomenal work out of me just because I'm running it now. We in my groove, and I'm snapping like it's that thing. Sometimes it's and the crowd was fire. It's all of those things that can kind of get you hyped in. But for me, it's always going to be when that crowd is going and I got to roll I'm throwing them out there. That's always going to kind of get me going a little bit more.
That's what's good. That's exactly what I was looking for. It is like you find that sometimes you build your energy. It's like I don't know if you watch The Boys or not on Amazon, but it's like Starlight.
Absolutely.
It's like Starlight. You get your energy off of the energy that's coming off from around you. Right here seems like a good place to take a brief pause for the cause. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a brief pause for the cause. Indie and Unsigned with our special guest, G-Jones. We're going to have a word from one of our sponsors, and we will be right back. Don't go nowhere.
Zagnif Productions,
In association with Zagnif Apparel,
gives you the opportunity to win free athletic gear. And here's how you do it. Visit the Zagnif Apparel Design Shop at Etsy.com. Purchase any piece of apparel that will automatically qualify you for the August 7th drawing for free apparel. Each purchase counts as one entry. No limit on the number of entries allowed. At least one lucky winner will win one free outfit. That's right, one free top, one free bottom. Note, the embroidered bomber jackets will not be regarded as prizes for this sweepstakes. July 30th is the last day to enter, so get to the Zagnif apparel design shop at Etsy.com today for your chance to win free athletic gear, courtesy of Zagnif Apparel.
In conjunction with Zagnif Productions, LLC.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, our sister company, Zagnif Apparel Design. You saw the gear. You can get yourself some free stuff. Every purchase gets you an entry. Now, that doesn't mean if you buy 2 hats with one transaction. That means each individual transaction gets you 1 entry. We're doing the drawing on August 7th. You will win a free top and a free bottom. If you missed the website, it's right over there in that corner over there, bottom right, Etsy shop, Etsy.com. Shop Zagnif Apparel Design. If you got your phone with you right now, hit it with the QR code. Boom, boom, takes you right over there. We got hats, we got leggings, we got yoga shorts, we got what else we got? Oh, bomber jackets. We got joggers for the fellas, we got leggings for the ladies. Right there in that corner. Hit that QR code, hit it up, boom, boom, grab yourself a little something today. Then now we are back with my man G-Jones, who is full of energy and hype and keeping us going right now. So he is a spoken word artist. He is a motivational speaker. He's an author. I'm gonna get into the thing about your book in just a minute, but I got a word for you today, if you don't mind.
Listen, I do this. What are we doing?
Oh, he said you do this. Huh? Okay, all right. Well, I told you that I used to be a host. I used to DJ. I used to do karaoke. So that's the word for today. Give me something off of karaoke. Ladies and gentlemen, G-Jones.
I'm thinking. I used to love it when she sang to me, but it was crazy because I never know how close it could be to hitting that note I needed. Let me understand exactly what I want you to feel when I speak. I need you to know I could love the way she could hit that note. Whew. See, most of the times it was singing something that wrote that she never wrote. I used to feel like, oh, she's got it all. I love Miss Independent no matter what, because that's how she could get. So every time she walked in, she was singing me this, and I never thought, never would assume. No one could told me around this town that I would have her singing I'm Going Down. Fine. I get it. Maybe I was wrong because I thought that I was going to, make her want to shoot. But instead, she sounded like Whitney when she sang that shoot song. All right. Now I'm getting confused. Now I'm trying to figure out how I can find a melody that's inside of me, but all I see her doing is singing different tunes. She labeled me a fast talker when she sang Summer Walker, and I could see that she was meant to be walking down Lennox Ave when she was singing Ari Lennox, because I had to break her off, and all of a sudden my brain started to clash, and I thought that she was supposed to be with me, but instead she wasn't. And it wasn't meant to be, but I still loved it when she was mad. Okay, I get it. Before I give out all my cash because I'm thinking that I'm that nigga that fell in love with a stripper. Whatever you seem to sing along to, because obviously I could be in your journey where you're thinking how you're going to walk with me too. I could say all of these things and maybe it could just be me. Maybe I could always love it when she sang to me, regardless of what the song may be. Maybe I just always felt it because it was meant for me to feel that strongly. Or maybe none of it was meant to be because those words were never hers. Therefore, it was just a sing-along. Karaoke. G-Jones. We out here.
What? I'm gonna give you the finger snaps. G-Jones. Come over to karaoke. Listen, I caught I'm Going Down. I caught the journey. I thought you was good. When I thought you were gonna go, Don't Stop Believing, you went the other way.
I did on purpose. That was a move.
And you said something about you said
I'm
Linux,
not
and I
lie.
thought you said Linux, and I thought you was going Eurythmics, and then you went Ari Lennox. I'm like, okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna get in my bag, but I was like, all right, this is always getting kind of long because I was going to hit. I was about to hit like built this city. That's why that's why I was like I dove back to walk this way. That was a jump back because it was really about to hit Van Halen. I was about to go into that whole situation. I was like, let me not. Because I just said it's gonna take long.
Hey, you get some love. You get some love from the homeboy Sean Spencer, partner of mine, back in Virginia,
Thank you.
watching. Also host of one of our partner shows. We talked about me and the football thing, and he does Let's Talk Football. There's a whole family of them. So if you like football, which we talked about, you got to check it out. I'll put you on. I'll invite you to the group. They have great discussions. Shoot, if you got something to contribute, what team do people root for in Delaware?
What team they root for in Delaware, or what team do I root for?
What team do you? Well, let's start with you. What team do you root for?
I'm a Cowboy fan. I keep a star with me everywhere I go. That's all I'm saying.
Oh man, you just lost some points with my man Sean.
Nah,
he is a diehard Commanders fan.
Commanders
through and through. But wait a minute.
I do an Eagles fan.
Wait a minute.
Eagles fan.
But his co-host is a Cowboys fan.
Phenomenal person.
Hey, look, you and my wife will get along great guns because she's a Cowboys fan too. I'm a Falcons fan for life.
Okay.
Oh, okay, Sean. Okay, Sean. We got you. He's still going.
He's still going. Right. Okay. So understand something, right, Mista Fingaz. I want you to know something, right? As an artist, right? As an artist, you know what art does? I'm gonna tell you. Art makes people feel something. Art makes people feel something, right? So all that means to me is me being a Cowboy fan. That's art in itself. You see how much he felt? You all saw all them O's in that dude? He was feeling it. His feelings was hurt. I can't believe they got another one. Oh man, this brother's a good brother too. They done got another one. That's how he felt when he saw me. Like, this man is a great guy and he's a Cowboy fan. That's that emotion. No. That's what I do.
Bruh, you killing me right now. You are killing me. You're killing me. But that got a laugh out of my man Sean right there. He's a Commanders fan, but he's a realist when it comes to his team, just like I'm a realist when it comes to me and my Birds. I love them, but I don't think they're gonna do nothing. Y'all done had to beat up on us that bad last season. That onside kick that hurt.
We did. So understand something, right? For what the Cowboys are, we did have to beat up on y'all because we beat up on the bad teams. We lost to the good teams last season. I watched every game. So yes, we had to do it because we need to maximize.
No, you missed the point. Your boys didn't have to do that. You missed when I said that. My wife is a Cowboys fan and I'm a Falcons fan, and we have a thing called Handy Bowl every time they play each other. We were leading the series 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they have tied the series up at 3 games each.
Yeah.
So my bragging rights are now in jeopardy.
Yes. Was because somebody had to prove the decline of Matt Ryan. Guess what? We here, baby. Somebody had to prove it. Y'all didn't know. I was like, oh, wait. Micah, was that Micah guy? Yes, somebody had to prove it. And we couldn't prove it.
Okay, then we done had enough of this guy here. G Dash Jones had left the chat. Now I'm just playing. Come on back, bro. Sean, I learned how to do it.
See, again, I would like the crowd to know this, right? What happens, right? Cowboy fan enters, he learns things. Huh? See what happens? See what the stars inspire? Okay? What the stars inspire?
G Dash Jones, spoken word artist, ladies and gentlemen. We were talking about spoken word. So you gave us that hot freestyle. Jokes aside, though, it's all in love. It's all in love.
Mm-hmm.
You gave us that freestyle. Was it something that you like? You said you were a child of hip hop, so that was that was not something that you taught yourself. It's just from you just being a child of hip hop that you picked up on doing those freestyles.
Well, yeah, because that's what okay, right. You know this, but I guess you're right because the crowd, everybody doesn't always know these things. But dude, it was different from like a freestyle was a freestyle back before. Like, it's ironic that Flex be having people do freestyles. If Sway, they spit these written joints. But that's what it was back then, right? And it was just gathering around and that camaraderie that we did when we could share these bars and the beat. So
Mhm.
there's that. I could couple that with, again, for me, doing the spoken word part was easier than rapping, because I need to talk about something. In rap, I could freestyle and not say anything. You see what I'm saying? Like somebody could make a whole little joint, you know what I mean, and say nothing, and it could be a bop. You feel me? Like that joint
Right.
goes so hard. Raindrop, drop top. look at, hey, don't say a word. I don't know what you're talking about, bro, but that joint go hard, right? You can do that.
Designer on the freshman class. Raise the way to go to way to say it one plus one. I didn't understand a word he said, but it was like I was almost like,
Right? Like, so, because they find a melody and they get you with the bop of it, and all those things go into it. And for me, like, as I developed that skill from then, just having to rap, because you had to have bars, and I used my pen anyway, and the poetry thing came always a little easier, because even back then we always had rappers that didn't talk about nothing. Because listen, you was a true foosnick, I don't care. So okay, and you had effects. Bum stickity bum is not a word. Okay, what nobody say, but it was a whole bar.
that
So
was a whole bar. Hardy, hard.
oh,
Look,
listen,
it was some people that didn't understand none of the words except for bum stickity bum high. I'm hyper there. Pinocchio's nose, but tic tac toe and just 1 2 buckle my shoot, like the whole nine. But
yep,
it got you going.
got you going. So for me, those things still got me going, but I like to talk about something.
Mhm.
I don't like to do that. Like, that part for me was like, will find up being lost. So that's what got me really into tapping into, let me get into this, the spoken word bag of it, because I can always freestyle of it, I can always that, but I always cared about the topic, and that's the part that stuck with me my whole time. Like, all right, I want to talk about something. Like, I don't really want to just say words to say them. Like,
Now has this given you an opportunity to travel outside of Delaware? I mean, I'm sure you gotten outside of Delaware. I mean, I'm not no knock, but Delaware is not one of the largest states in the nation, so it's not hard to get out of Delaware. Have you had a chance to travel?
all of a sudden, size matters. Like, bro, who was talking about size? Like, we was sitting there quietly. I wasn't bothering nobody. My
I
state ain't bothering nobody. You feel me? Like, listen, Delaware is the Steph Curry of the United States. Okay, I tried to get it off. I couldn't. I really tried to say it so confidently that it had to just go by. But at any rate, it felt good. I went with it. We're gonna let it go. At any rate,
I would
yes.
know. I wasn't. Wait a minute. Why are you coming for me now? I wasn't even. I was just saying. It's like if your city, like if I lived in a city that was 3 blocks by
Nope.
3 blocks,
Nope.
all I got to
Nope.
do is get in my car, go 2
Nope.
blocks up, and then make a left, and I'm out of town.
It's not. You won't be. Right? You're gonna think you out of town, and it's gonna get real dark. And I would suggest you do it. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm out Delaware. We heavy here. Hey, to answer your question, yes, I have traveled.
Yes, sir.
But yeah. So I've been, I like, really what happens is I'm out traveling for other reasons, and in that space, whether it be for a vacation or like the last time I actually was traveling for work, and I found my way at an open mic out there in Orlando, right? So Orlando. My first time performing was at Busboys and Poets, so that was actually in DC. So
Mhm.
like, I try to always find ways to get around, and anytime I'm traveling, to find a place where people I don't know is gonna get to hear me do my thing, and feel the vibes.
All right. Have you now have in your travels has it given you an opportunity to maybe after you've been in your craft for a while? I know people that they're okay with not blowing up per se because they love their craft and that's just what they do. As long as they get an opportunity to give other people the opportunity to get to come up, you reach back and bring them up. But have
Hmm.
in the time that you've been doing this, have you had a chance to say rub elbows with some royalty, as it were, of the spoken word community?
Um, I don't know if not royalty. I would say maybe I don't know. I've met a lot of dope poets, but I think that's just kind of the nature of when you're doing something that everybody don't do, then when you're in those rooms, that's when you meet the dopest poets. Like you're gonna meet people who are speaking from different parts. And there are times when I've seen poets step on the stage, and you just know it. So doing spoken word the way I do it, it does parallel comedy in a lot of different ways, because it's like saying somebody like, "Hey, have you met the dopest comic?" Maybe not. Maybe not the biggest name comic, I should say, right? But have I met somebody that was just pen was crazy? Absolutely, that type of vibe. So yeah, I've definitely seen some great people. And what I like to do is, I'm somebody who, because I like to always have levels to my shows and try to do different things, right? You a DJ, so you get the ability to be able to bring in a house record, and then to be able to bring in a like an Afrobeat joint, and then a hip hop record, right? That thing to me is when I see somebody
House to
speak,
Afrobeat to reggaeton never fails.
And so here's a fun fact. When doing spoken word, there's certain things that I don't want to say never fail, but there's certain things that never fail. Like if you talk about certain topics, you gonna go. And what you can do is, for me, I've learned that to adopt different styles, right? What you do is you manage you maintain you, but when I'm engaging a crowd, I got to be able to get serious for a second and then talk to you like this, and then I can bring it back and make it big. Like those type of things is what you gather from other poets. You don't know that on your own. Especially not how to do it in the words. So you got to like really tap in to listen to them. So that's what I try to do. Just listen to other poets and see, between their pen and then their energy. I always try to just absorb all I can from the greats.
Bro, you said a whole mouthful here. It's like listening to you is like, sometimes, have you ever had somebody that, like I told you before, I can be real high energy, and I like to kind of try and keep a balance. Like you're giving me all the energy, so I don't have to do a whole lot of work. You know what I mean? But sometimes you talk to somebody and they're giving you so much energy. It's like, yo, like, wait a minute, hold on, take notes. He said, what? Okay, size matters. Wait, Steph Curry. Like you're trying to keep track of everything. Is there any particular goal that you hope to to achieve from doing the spoken word? Like, I mentioned a minute ago about maybe trying to get a little bit more of a come up, or what are your
Oh man, that's a good one. All right, so I'm thinking I would say, so for me, I have a whole business plan that I'm trying to do, right? So
right?
the spoken word aspect is just like one part of it. So there's a couple different legs to this. And that's what doing the spoken word that comes with the hosting. Like I host, I host Weed Stock. That's coming up around here. That's also with me doing the workshops. So I do workshops. Some based on like creative writing, some based on performance, because they don't do performance development anymore. So a lot of artists don't know how to handle themselves on the stage. So, and I know how to do those things. By trade, my 9 to 5 is I'm a corporate trainer, right? So I know how to manage a classroom, manage a room with adults and things like that, and youth. And I've done youth workshops at this point. So like those things to help people tap into their presence and all that. So that's a leg of that, right? So I got the spoken word in the performance space. I got the book, and then there's of course the workshops. You take out those things, diving into life coaching and diving into public speaking. So for me, right, that's the only way. That's how they say it. If you're trying to get those the 7 streams of income, you know what I'm saying? Like all the things that help make people get to where they want to be, to me, come from having that industry thought process. And within having that, it comes with, I don't always care about the clout. I don't always like to be around people. I don't always like people, if I'm being honest. I just don't. But I know my purpose is to help people. It's a difference between what you're meant to do versus what you always enjoy. And I do enjoy my craft. So for me, that's where I go with what my art does and how it is. It's to create this whole industry space, right? Where I'll show others how to do certain legs of this and hire people and build up for that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
you actually have a business plan of action for this, for what you do. Like it's not It's not just going to be, you know, every such and such. Every such and such Friday. I'm gonna go down to such and spit a couple of freestyles and bring some folks on and have a couple of drinks and maybe put a little something in the air and like you're building. You have a stair step
Insane.
plan.
Well, yeah, because the objective isn't to have to. For me, let me clarify this. For me, my objective isn't to have to work for somebody for the rest of my life. Right? That's not just not the end goal. And I'm gonna be real. If I am going to work for somebody for the rest of my life, then the objective is to still have my own piece of my pie. None of it doesn't make sense to me to not have
What?
my own piece of my pie.
Watch me right now. Watch me right now. Give you my best Kabi LeMay impersonation. There it is. Like you know, my brother, the African dude.
Yes,
That is
absolutely.
right there. So hey man, I have thoroughly enjoyed having you on the show. We're not done yet. I want you to give us another piece, if you don't mind. I know you say we do this. I know, but I would like to give
Really
you the
quick,
courtesy.
before I do this, and I hate to interrupt you, but you asked me a question, and it's sticking in my head because of the example that you gave me, right? Or because the story that you gave me. And as a DJ, I'm gonna ask you a question first. As a DJ, a podcaster, as a public entity in that space, what level do you hope to achieve with what you do?
Well, we've already set the foundation with Zagnif Productions, of course. We started the LLC. We are now 18, 19 months old. This month, the
Mm,
LLC is. We have the levels with the custom apparel. Right now is third party drop shipping. We hope to be able to evolve to a point where I've got my own warehouse and well, actually, I don't know. I might want to keep that. I might want to keep that third party because that way I don't have to pay for having the stuff and keeping the inventory. So that's why I got started with the third party drop shipping. I do have my own music that I have that I've got an EP. I thought I had one right here. I was going to pull it out and pow, hit you with it. But I've got 2 EPs that I put out. I also do voiceover work. My goal is to eventually build this to a point where maybe it's not necessarily a secondary source of income, but it's a doggone good source of supplementary income.
mm-hmm,
Actually, of all of those things that I've mentioned, the one that will probably make the one that will probably make the most money once it gets rolling is the voiceover work, and then more than likely the podcasting when we can get some more sponsors. Because um, right now, and this is absolutely zero knock on any of you all that are sponsoring our show. We do appreciate you, but you know we're no. You know how you do when you first starting out.
I do. I do.
Everybody's looking out for everybody. As a matter of fact, I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting ready to play another one of my sponsor videos in just a second. We're kind of all looking out for each other, trying to shout each other out and get eyes on each other's product. So
Mm-hmm.
eventually the goal is to have some actual sponsors come in and say, hey, we want to, but it's mine. This is something that is mine and is proprietary to me. It's not on a network. It's not on a television network. It's not on a cable network where I've got to deal with, you know what I'm saying? Like Kev on
Mm-hmm.
stage, he started his own studio.
Shoo!
Isn't
Tell me
that a
about
beautiful
it.
thing?
What?
Kev on stage
Listen.
has his own studios where he can film and produce all his own content and offer. I mean, he still does the free stuff on the social media platforms, but he's got the exclusive content. And that is my goal. We do have the Patreon page. We got nobody hitting the Patreon page right now, but we'll get there eventually, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's my end goal. I mean, I would like for it to be actually probably bigger than just a second supplemental course of income, but I want to have the foundation in place before I get there. Because right now it's just me. It's me and my homeboy Colin that co-hosts the show, and then my boy Sean Spencer that's been in the comments. We're all part of that podcast family together right now. But Zagnif is all. This is it. This is the whole staff. So that's my goal.
I dig it. I dig it. That's dope. And my with that question made me think of the answer being Styles P. Right? Here's why I say this.
Uh-huh.
I only say that because in my brain, who's a artist whose career financially they got dumb money, got good money, but they get to stay to themselves and live their life. But they got juice companies and all that other shit. Like that type of level to me is my financial space of what I don't mind being in with what I do. Right, where listen, but this is why we do more than one thing, right? If you look at what you're doing right now, this is why it's the multiple streams of income. That's where
Right.
where it works. So I'm here for it. I get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we're gonna jump right here, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna run another from one of our sponsors here, our good buddy Sid Swinton with Squid Rips Cards. We will be right back right after this. Don't move. That's our good buddies. That's sorry to say Squid, our good buddy Squidney. Oh man, Sydney Swinton with Squid Rip Cards. The man is doing big things. He's live on TikTok a couple times a week. You can check him out at Squid Rips Cards on TikTok. I believe he's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm not exactly sure which days because I don't have a TikTok, so I got to get there. That's next. That's supposedly the future of the future of social media right now. But we are here right now live with our in-studio guest, G-Jones, who has been dispensing wisdom and freestyles and telling people how they should wear their hats and all kinds of good stuff. I got one more question for you before we get into this next freestyle. You have a catchphrase that I've noticed that you give out when you do a freestyle, and I don't think I didn't notice for a second how you very, very subtly get with the product placement. But it's your catchphrase. It's called. I caught you with the product placement. I'm not mad at you. That's what I got you on here for. Do your thing, brother. Promote your craft. But he has a catchphrase, and I'm gonna let you explain it to the people. I'm not even gonna give it away. Explain to me about the catchphrase.
So the catchphrase is I'm thinking. It's the shirts. So it came because whenever I do improv, that's just what I said. That's what I say. Like I didn't think about it until my homie Tuck, shouts out to Tucker, Lindsay of Tuck Media. Boom, get your website done. He hooks it up. Either way, he came. I do a podcast with him, Gordon DE, and Uncle Tuck. We was chopping it up one day, and I did one. He was like, so he said you should just have your shirt say I'm thinking. I was like, huh, I didn't even know I said that. Like I really didn't even know I said it until he was like that. And then I reached out to this company called Stoner Babies, and we had some things. And shouts out to Weed Snob for printing up the shirt. So it was a collab effort, but the I'm thinking came from is what I opened up all my spoken words with, and I didn't even realize it because I just get into, again, it's probably like rapper mode, that thing, but instead of it's that, it's I'm thinking, and then so. Yeah,
right.
Another shirt thing here. Yeah, something clean.
Now those can be
just wiping it off.
Right. Yeah, I know, right? Just a little something. Those can be purchased on your website, right? DEXDE.net. Right there in the crawl and on the banner, ladies and gentlemen. That's where you can get that. What other kind of merch you got there, man?
It's the shirt and the book for now. I'm about to see what other things I'm gonna get into, but for now it's just the shirt and the book straight up. So I released a deluxe bag. But yeah, so that's where that is. That's daybyday.net, DEXDE. So yeah.
Okay. I thought there was something to that, and you gave it to me day by day. I like that. So tell us about the book.
Okay, so the book, DEXD, hold up, boom, because I'm here, you know what I'm saying? You didn't get yours yet, it's coming. But bow, so you can look at mine until you get yours. You see what I'm saying? Right, back, just like the viewing public will look at mine until they get theirs. All right, so here's what we're going to do, right? My book, Day by Day, Volume 1. So Day by Day stands for, DE stands for Destined by Determination, right? So that DE, day, X, is times, destined by determination. That's how that works. So the book is really, it's a set of poetry, written based upon things that I went through as my younger self and lessons that I've learned and reflected on as my older self. You feel me? So I take these things because I believe that we are all destined by our determination. Do I believe in destiny? Yes, but I believe that it's based upon the pathway set before you and the decisions that you make. Free will still exists as well, right? So that means that your will is going to direct how you move, right? And how determined you are is going to determine how you get where you're trying to go. So that's the premise of this book. And for me, this book is one of three. This is the first one that's out, Day by Day, Volume 1, The Willing.
Okay.
And it's, when I say it's a bunch of different life lessons, it talks about everything from avoiding generational curses, right? Which we all got them. It's
You know
very few
what? It's
people who I
funny
know
you
that don't.
mentioned that. Funny you should mention that.
Yes, sir.
Because I wanted to say, I've heard you drop some dope freestyles, but I went to your website and I checked out a lot of your spoken word, and the bar that jumped out at me. I'm a black daddy, which means I'm ducking and dodging those generational curses so I don't pass down those traumas.
Yeah. Yep.
Right there.
That was, but so here being, so I can only speak from being black in America. We are delivered trauma. Like trauma is brought to the doorstep. Trauma's on the TV. Trauma's when I look at my phone. Like you can't just avoid trauma as a black man in America. It's just there. So now you got to just try not to pass down the same stuff that was handed to you, because our trauma is not our parents' trauma now. It's life has grown unless we carry those with us and look at it differently. Like I can't prepare my kids for the same lifestyle I need to be prepared for. They're not me. Like they live in a different world than I lived in. You see what I'm saying? They gonna have a metaverse. I didn't have a metaverse. I had Nintendo. So I feel like,
Bro, you had a Nintendo. I had an Atari 2600. I still have it.
right. So like listen, Pong. What is Pong gonna do in the metaverse? Like I don't know. It's a different world. So I kind of had to look into, like I said, avoiding those generational curses. Point of Reference is probably one of my favorite poems in the book. It's called Point of Reference. This is about like how you see love, right? How you learned what love was. You see what I'm saying? I grew up in a single parent home. Love wasn't inside the home. That changes how you see it. I don't care how anybody want to say it, but if love is never exists in the home where you live, how do you learn what it is? That means you're only picking from whatever you saw it somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that, and hoping somebody has a decent conversation with you. So I tackle that type of those conversations. I got one in there about how people who make decisions are rarely people who are from the same ilk that they're making decisions for. I.e., we see Roe versus Wade, right, being made by a bunch of people who aren't in the position that they're making the decisions for. Period. Right? Even the female who voted for it. Sorry, guess what? If she needed to have an abortion, she got enough money to go wherever she needs to do it to make it happen. That's not her fight. So she can make these decisions because it's not your problem, right? It's very different when you're making decisions when it's not your problem. So I write about that. It's like I said, it's about 20 of them, and each poem has a different introductory like paragraph or intro, so that if you're not into poetry per se, you still can understand everything I'm saying. Like it still kind of breaks it down to give the lesson and the message.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to getting a copy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he told me you were going to send me one, so I got my eyes out for it.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, G Jones, good sir. I was wondering. I asked earlier. I was wondering. It sounded a little bit like a catchphrase I heard somewhere. If you would be so kind as to give the folks one more before we get out of here for the day.
Absolutely. Which you want? Oh, so we didn't
Well,
actually explain it, but I'm gonna explain it real quick. So I tell the world, they heard me do it, but we didn't explain it. So my thing is, I say, you give me a word, I give you a poem. That's my thing, right? As an improv poet, I kind of can do it that way, right? So when I said that they gave me when I ran a gauntlet, it was give me a word, give me a word. That's my thing. You give me a word, I give you a word, phrase, anything that can allude to something. As long as I know what it means, I can give you a poem.
Okay. Off the dome, blah, 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 blah. Compassion. There we go. There's your word.
Okay. I'm thinking. I remember working at the movie theater when The Passion of Christ came out. I remember those theaters being sold out. I remember like people being there, filling every concession line. Oh man, it was amazing without a doubt. Like really, watching the passion, standing there with sold out theaters full of people who don't give compassion. I had to start to think because it was amazing to me how they wouldn't even ration out any bread for you to have if they were poor and they needed that. See, I think about that as I tend to think back. Okay, maybe the side of me that expresses extreme empathy decides to feel things that they wouldn't feel for me. So now I'm mad at the compassion that they won't show me. And I'm looking at them as if the world owes me. And I'm looking at them like, God know my heart right after I do some foul shit, because guess what? Now I feel like the world owes me. Fine. I don't need them to have the compassion as long as I have the passion that knows inside my confidence that they chose me. See, you don't have to feel me. I can say that so arrogantly and knowing maybe that if you have the same compassion for me, you won't take the time to ignore me when I speak everything that I need, but instead you will, deliver for me. That's not what they do. Come on, tell the truth. Most of the time, most dudes is only worried about, them. So if you only worried about you, how can you have any compassion for me when I'm going through what I'm going through? They told me to tuck that shit in if I came to win. Ain't no time for you to be sobbing and crying. And if you think that I'm lying, ask any black man that you have seen within the last 5, 10, 15 years of life. I'm sorry if this don't sound nice. I'm just being real with words that I ain't have to write. See, I'm sorry if my emotions is something that's not everlasting because I know that it can change, but I'm just waiting for this one to start passing. Because everything I do may seem to sound strange for those that can identify, therefore they tend to lack compassion. Damn. I'm G Dash Jones. We out here. Day by day. I'm thinking, what are we doing, man?
My man, G Dash Jones with more. I got more finger snaps for you, brother. I got more finger snaps for you, man. Hey, look, it's been a pleasure having you on here today, my dude. I'm looking for big things from you, man. Big things. I'm like talking Def Poetry Slam type level stuff. And then we already got all your particulars. Actually, all of your socials. You can find him. All of his socials are right on that website.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to do it the hard way, you can go check him out at IG at G-Jones. That's the one that I have. I didn't copy all your socials. But if you want to do it the easy way, go by www.daybyday.net. Now that I know how to, I thought it was like Dexty or thank you for clarifying that for me. Please don't start because we could go back and we could. Hey, look,
man, listen,
Skip,
I'm out Delaware.
Skip,
I'm out Delaware.
Skip.
You don't know what the DE mean? The DE mean Delaware. Okay, that's what the DE mean. Say something.
I'm just gonna tell you, boo, you don't want to start because I will get you. I will come over there. I will talk about them hats on your wall. I will talk about that picture that looked like a picture of Jackie Robinson. That's either Jackie Robinson or Eddie Kane Jr. from the 5 Heartbeats up there on your wall. With you wearing an Indiana Jones hat, I will talk about everything. Everything.
Mr. Fingaz.
Hair,
Mr. Fingaz.
gas, air, water, everything.
Mr. Fingaz.
Your baby's posing like Skittles.
I can't. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to give a little skip. I mean, a little Shannon Sharp off of that. Like, but I couldn't get.
But you want Uncle Shay Shay? I could give you Uncle Shay Shay.
Uncle Shay Shay. That's what I wanted.
Look, listen, Skip, listen. Let me tell you something, Skip. Let me tell you. I grew up in a small town. About 70 miles south of Atlanta, Georgia. A little small town. Me and Sterling, we used to walk around with cardboard on our feet because we couldn't afford no shoes. Okay, but my granny used to tell me, "Don't start nothing, won't be nothing." That was a motto I carried with me all throughout my life. When I went to the Denver Broncos, when I showed up at training camp at the Ravens, Ray Lewis walked up to me and said, "So you the new rookie, huh?" I said, "Look here, Ray, I ain't fooling with you today. You and Jesus is about to beat Jesus if you keep messing with me. Because Shay will do something before 2 something. They call me the elevator because he used to come up slow. Don't mess with me."
Oh man, if I tell you something that's the truth, Shan Sharp never said nothing like that to Ray Murder. I tell you what he didn't do. Okay, you want to get Ray play with Ray Murder if you want to. I ain't tell you what he ain't do. Listen, let me stop playing because this is gonna air somewhere, and I don't want no problem. I like Ray Lewis is a fine gentleman.
Wait.
No problem.
Hold on. The views and opinions expressed by G. Jones are not necessarily those shared by Mr. Fingaz,
You want
Anthony Handy,
something?
Zagnif Productions, or any of those.
No, he's with me. He agrees. He agrees. Sorry, Ray. Ray. Somebody talk about Lamar Jackson real quick so we can bring up somebody else who can throw the ball. Anyway, all right, listen, get me off this phone because get me off of this phone.
Why you have to wait a minute? Why you do that?
I didn't mean to. Because it's been on my timeline today and it caught a stray. And I'm sorry because I like Lamar too. He ain't do nothing, especially throw the ball.
Man, look, I think this is a good place to start.
This is gonna get me in trouble. This is gonna be the one.
Wow. And look, we only 2 episodes into season 3, and we might not get to episode 3. So those of y'all that I booked, y'all just stay on standby. I'm gonna wait a couple days, see how this go. Just hey, remember my face. If you see it on a milk carton tomorrow, y'all get G because y'all know that's what happened. Call that man Ray Murder. That ain't even name.
Ooh.
Look here.
Phenomenal human being.
Shannon Sharp came talk to me. The other day, Shannon came talk to me. He said, "Look, Bernie, I'm playing football with Ray Lewis." I said, "Ray who?" Because he said it's so funny. I had to hit again. He said, "I'm playing football with Ray Lewis." I said, "Look here, you gonna have to learn how to work a cell phone and set up a play or something. Because I ain't messing with Ray Lewis. I ain't doing that today."
Yeah, when Ray Lewis take you out, he take you out.
All the way out.
That means, I live in Delaware.
Look, Ray Lewis
is Baltimore. Don't do this to me. I live right there. I can't stop, and we here now. Like we are here.
Look, next time you try to go to Baltimore, he gonna stop you right at the state line. Talking about, I heard. Look, gonna be like Eddie Murphy. I heard you did some jokes about me. Heard you did some jokes about me. No, you didn't. Maybe I didn't. I'm gonna go beat up the fool that told me them lies. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's one more time for our guest today, G. Jones. Man, I appreciate you stopping by the show.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna need you to hang out for just a second while the outro plays, as I want to holler at you once the outro plays. But on behalf of G. Jones, all of our sponsors, by the way, GreekGans.com, Envision Social Media, 1906tees.com, Squid Rips Cards, and Zagnif Apparel. We appreciate each and every one of y'all for being sponsors of the show. G, I appreciate y'all. We gonna get out of here before we get to cutting up some more. But we, for now, are OUWT out, and we will see you later.